I knew that was going to happen one day. You know, the comment button is right next to the in live stream. I'll show you what I mean. I knew that was going to happen one day. Oh, God. I did that myself. Oh, okay. Okay. Welcome back. Welcome back. I did that myself. I'll show you what I'm talking about. You see this? See where it says comments? Well, it's right next to the in stream button. I mean, literally right next to it. And I accidentally hit the end live stream. I knew that that was going to happen. You don't know how many times I have pushed that button. And anyway, welcome back. Sorry about that. So, what I'm going to do is make the first one part one and then make the second one part two. So, no worries. I did that myself. That wasn't Kensington Palace coming after me. Okay. Part one. There we go. Easy to remedy. Sorry about that, you guys. If you're just coming back, please take a look at the screen and you can see what happened. When I'm switching to do other stuff, when I come back, like if I want to do anything, like play a video, when I come back, I have to push the comment button, which is, guess what? Way too close to end stream. And so this is the time I finally did what I've always thought I was going to do, and that is hit that end stream button. So today was the day. Sorry about that. So I'm going to make this part one, and then this one will be part two. And life goes on. There we go. Welcome back. Sorry about that, everyone. You guys know I have a birthday coming up. I think my age is starting to show. Yeah, I think my age is starting to show. Let me see. Sorry about that. Sorry about that. But yeah, that's what happened is these buttons are too close together. And as my finger was, I just kept pushing it. And I'm just like, well, where's the chats? I mean, the comment. Where's the comments? And I just kept pushing the button, but I was pushing the orange one instead of the white one. So that is exactly what happened. That's the truth as best I can tell it. Welcome back. Welcome back. Sorry to scare you guys. I'll say it just one more time. I push in stream instead of comments when I was trying to get back to the comments. And anyway, it's something that I have pushed it before, but this time I actually pushed it twice and just laid on it until I was like, oh boy, you should have heard the expletives I dropped. Okay, so moving on, we're going to get back on track here. Okay, this is the other collage I wanted to show you. This is, I think this is all of the times that Meghan wore red. There may be one or two missing, but there's the one with the red dress. I don't know what that occasion was, but that was before she married Harry. And then the one next to it, going from left to right. That was their last night of official royal duty. And then, of course, well, yeah, I think it was. And then, of course, the one with the, I guess you would call that like a scarf or whatever sewn onto it. That is the one from One World or whatever that thing is. And then, of course, the top right, far right, that is from Morocco. And then bottom left, that is Nigeria. And then the one where she's stooping down, that was also before marrying into that family. And then, of course, that was their Oceania tour. And then over on the right, that was, oh gosh, I don't know what town, but that's the coat that she was wearing when she met Dorothy. Remember that? So I tell you, I don't know what two of those are, but that's because that was before she got married to Harry. Okay. Hey, Legs. Dutch me not. Hello, fam. How's everyone this day? Sending prayers and safe travel to those leaving Florida. Yes, yes, yes. Thank you for that. And those that are staying, please reconsider and evacuate ASAP. Yeah, scary thing, Florida. Okay. Allure magazine. The shine is blinding. That is what Allure magazine says. And then the article itself starts off with Meghan Markle returns to the red carpet with flawless beach waves. Speaking of her hair. Now, that photo is actually from that variety event. It's not actually the photo from the event, the Children's Hospital. But I think the idea was to get you to open up the article and actually read it. So, just in case you're wondering why you don't see her hair is slicked back in that bun from the variety event. But that is what they're talking about. They call it beach waves, that type of hair. So I never heard that before today. Welcome back if you're just joining us. So sorry that I hit the end stream button. As I said before, the button is so close to comments. I just went up instead of the lower one, and all hell broke loose. Now, see, to do that, I have to come out of comments and you know what I mean? So maybe I won't do that for a little while. I'll just leave that comment button alone, or I'll just concentrate before I touch that button again. Uyela Nungbi Nakube, thank you for being here. And take a look there. That is the CEO and the chairman of Children's Hospital. There is a flawless image of our Duchess in the middle. And look at there. According to CNN, look of the week, Meghan, Duchess of Sussex, striking red gown worn at charity gala on Saturday isn't entirely new. Okay, but it is the look of the week. And of course, they go on to mention the origins of that gown, which is from another gala. Oh, okay. Women spray salt water in their hair to make it wavy, and they bump it with a curling iron or flat iron, or twist the hair into beachy waves. I didn't know that. Now, for Meghan, I kind of think she don't have to do that. Her waves are built in. Her waves are built in. You know, one of these days, Meghan is going to go to some event with her hair all natural. Yeah, she's going to go all natural one day. And I cannot wait for that to happen because it is going to be like um, like the eruption of Krakatoa. Oh, hello to you too. Thanks again for being here. And in case you're wondering what the room appeared like, there it is right there. That is the room. And let's see. And there were several ladies that wore red to this event. So I don't know if red was like the color of the night or if it was just a coincidence, but there were several people that wore red. Well, actually, there was other people wearing red, but there was only one person who really wore red, and we know who that was. And then right there, Children's Hospital Los Angeles 2024 gala raises nearly $5 million to support pediatric health care and research. And there you could see Meghan, not the Duchess of Sussex, but the lady. Oh, did you guys notice that the gown that Meghan is wearing? It looks like the gown that Meghan wore with the one arm, right? Remember that? Remember the one where they were making so much comment about it, saying that she had broken royal protocol, even though there's several images of Queen Elizabeth with a similar cut gown, and of course Catherine the Great. But yeah, isn't that something? The other Meghan there, although she doesn't spell her name with an H, she's wearing a black gown with the one arm. And of course, those are the children there. And oh, that's what's her name? Jamie Lee Curtis and Sugar Ray Leonard, Pierce Kelly, Martha Sakato, is it? Whatever her name is. Chuck Lorre, uh, Ellen Kay, Lisa Joyner, and John Kryler. Oh, yeah, he's a comedian, right? All right. And I have another soundbite for you. This was really good. Some of you all may have heard it already if you're on Instagram, TikTok, or maybe if you're on Twitter. But let me cue this one for you.
Markle chose to wear when Meghan Markle chose to wear our Mexican huaraches, not only did we quickly sell out, but tons of tiny workshops all across Mexico that were making the same style quickly sold out too. So with a simple shoe choice, Meghan actually became an ally. Brother Valley's as a company was starting to become the ally of many. It wasn't just about launching a fashion brand. It was about setting out to actually be an ally and using my own individual privilege to create a pipeline of income for the descendants of those who had originally invented this shoe. When Meghan Markle chose to wear our Mexican huaraches, not only did we quickly sell out, but tons of tiny workshops all across Mexico that were making the same style quickly sold out too. So with a simple shoe choice, Meghan actually became an ally. Brother Valley's as a company was starting to become the ally of many. It wasn't just about launching a fashion brand. It was about setting out to actually be an ally and using my own individual privilege to create a pipeline of income for the descendants of those who had originally invented this shoe.
Okay, I played it twice because I needed to put on the troll spray. I just thought about it. I'm like, oh, I got to put on that troll spray. Okay, that way, in case there's any trolls, they won't be able to get into the live chat unless they wait a 5-day period. Yes, there's a gestation period for them to join the conversation. All righty. So, how sweet is that? It was an acknowledgement from the company. Now, I don't know if this girl owns the company. I suppose she is the investor, the founder, or whatever. But whatever the case may be, first of all, cheers for that suit that she's wearing. Now, that is a power suit, very dramatic. And yeah, there you go. I did not know anything about the shoe. I'd never seen it before. I mean, I guess it looks familiar to me now, but I don't know if I named the brand before, but there you go. Once again, Meghan is using her influence to help a small, sustainable, and likely women's owned or founded business. So, cheers to Meghan for that. And here's some more of their products. You can see a very familiar person there on the right side and a very familiar person, I believe, on the left side. So very cool. So you'll have to go and look at some of their products. It is called Brother Veli's, Brother Veli's, Brother Veli's. I think it's Brother Veli's. But yeah, that's the name of the company. Oh, she wore them on a South Africa tour. You know, I'm going to have to go back and look at that tour because I was all over the Oceania tour, but I did not see much of South Africa. I think it's because I had just started another job and I was working some really wacky hours. Well, look at there on the left. He's probably familiar to you, right? Simon Rex. Well, he too was at that event with the champagne. How about that? And of course, those two models there on the right side. Boy, I tell you, this is what happens when two models meet each other. They just really look good together. Everything they do, they always look like they're working because they are just so perfect together. Yeah, they make a really cute couple. So there's Nacho and Delphina. Yes, Nacho. Now, New York City Climate Week. What companies are doing to improve sustainable business travel? So this rather boring looking article would have gone unnoticed, except for the fact that they were talking about our Harry, and that's the only reason why I paid attention to it. It's just another indication that what Harry's doing is huge. It says there are a few instances in which the eye of business world are entirely on sustainability. Among the few rare exceptions to this rule is Climate Week in New York City, a 5-day long event that consists of conferences, press events, discussions, and symposiums on all designed, that is, to maintain the spotlight of sustainability. Corporate citizens will need to step up. It says the need for corporations to set strict environmental guidelines has never been more critical. By setting strict environmental guidelines, companies can leverage the travel impact model to make sure their employees hit appropriate emission targets. One of the major challenges exists at the moment. Let me just get to the part with Harry. It says, there it is. It says, with assistance from Travelers, a nonprofit established by Prince Harry, the Duke of Sussex, Sabre believes that the new travel impact model could be the key standard that the industry is looking for. Did I tell you guys that was founded by Prince Harry? In a room full of business aviation leaders, corporate executives, industry consultants, and more, there was nothing but curiosity and optimism about the future of TIM and sustainable business travel as a whole. So, again, founded by Prince Harry, and there are some huge corporate names. About $1 trillion in corporate interest is involved with Travelers. $1 trillion. No, I think it was what, 1.8 trillion. $1.8 trillion worth of corporations that are in have signed on with Travelers. Now, the only thing I don't know, and of course, I don't want to sound tacky, but does Harry get paid for that? I mean, he is the founder, but I'm just asking, does he get paid for Travelers? I don't know. But it is I mean, he did hire that young lady that is the, I guess, CEO or whatever. But I was just wondering, does he get paid for that? Because, I mean, there is $1 trillion worth of $1.8 trillion worth of corporations involved in something that he's the founder of. So, you know, in the spirit of Dr. Jonah Salks, I would love to say, oh, this is for the benefit of all humanity, but he's got security for his family that is going to be rather expensive. And I just was wondering if anybody knows whether or not he gets paid for that. I think so. Nothing is free. Well, Connie Balmer, I just want my little uh, niece and nephew to be very safe. The prince and princess. I just want those children to be very safe. So that's the only reason why I'm asking, is not because, I want them to go and buy a second house or something like that. Just asking. That's all. That wasn't tacky, was it? But as the founder, I'm just saying he wasn't looking for anything like that. But I'm thinking about the children. That's all. I'm just thinking about those kids. So Meghan Markle's TV husband, Patrick J. Adams, reveals she texted him about Suits podcast, though they're not really in touch. Now, let me share with you something from yesterday. I promise you, I'm not going to touch that comment button right now. Boy, we lost about half of the people, didn't we? I do apologize again if you all were here earlier. I hit the wrong button and, well, kicked us out. I hate that because I don't want people to get worried that somebody has come after me or something. You know what I mean? That's why I'm very bothered by that. What did I say I was looking for? Oh, I know what it was. Never mind. Uh, oh, this makes it easier. Do me a favor. Won't you say what's on your mind? I may not have the answers, but I can make it easier to find. Okay, I'm just stalling a bit. I'm looking for something. Gosh, how far back was it? Oh, maybe that was the wrong day. Nah, it couldn't be. Let me try another slide. Avoiding the in stream button, of course. Oh, I think it was the day before that one. uh, oh, the hell with it. I don't see it. I wanted to. Well, I mean, I still could. I don't have to have that one in particular. But I was just going to find it for effect, but I don't need it. Yeah, I don't need it. Okay, so let me just do the thing. I want to share with you what was in the podcast.
Yeah. And in general, I just love that scene. I think it's a really strong beginning for her character. I just love her, like, what this is the scene where we meet one of our most important main characters. Rachel Zane comes up behind Mike and introduces herself, and we get to see the beginning of that relationship. Which,
before we dive into that scene,
yeah,
when did you meet Meghan?
Oh, so Megan and I had done a pilot before, a terrible, terrible pilot together. I won't even say the name of it, but you can IMDb it. There was a setting up of a romantic relationship in the pilot of that particular pilot too. And then we never saw each other again. The pilot failed. It was terrible and went away. And so we had never seen each other nor spoken to each other again. And then I saw her at the call, but I was in there because I was the first to be cast for the show. So when I went in to do the chemistry reads with Rachel, she was right there and she said hi. And I went, oh my God, so good to see you. And so I think our just knowing each other and getting to like calm down and not have those nerves of just getting to know one another really helped that chemistry read. And it was just clear that we had an easygoing thing when we went into that room. And it was pretty clear, if I remember correctly, that she was going to get the part from the minute we did the chemistry read. It was just so much easier than it was with anybody else.
Was the scene this scene?
It was this scene and the next one where she walks Mike through the whole office.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's a bear of an audition scene.
It's a big one. And she crushed it. She crushed it, and she crushes it in the show. So here we meet them. One of my favorite lines in the show, maybe in the whole series, I love you, whispered as she walks away.
That is a very popular meme, right? I love that.
I love you.
Yes.
Yeah. And in general, I just love that scene. I think it's a really strong beginning for her character. I just love her, like, what is her first line? I forget what she says.
Like, great,
she's
you've hit on me.
I just think it really like gives her some ownership of the space. So it's a good beginning of that relationship.
Okay, so this is what I was looking for. He has a podcast, Patrick J. Adams. It's called Sidebar. It's a Suits Watch podcast, or for some people, a Suits Rewatch podcast. So it's a chance for him to speak directly to the community of supporters, viewers, fans for Suits. So again, that's it. I wanted to share with you what the thumbnail or whatever they call it on the podcast. I wanted you to see what it looks like so it'd be easy for you to spot it when you go to listen to the entire podcast about Suits. So there you go. That's why I was trying to find it, just so that you can imprint the image in your mind. So let's see. Anyway, Patrick J. Adams doesn't regularly keep up with Meghan Markle, but the Duchess of Sussex contacted her former co-star recently, and the actor is feeling the love. The Suits star replied to fans' comments and questions on Reddit thread on Sunday, this past Sunday, including a pointed question about how his relationship has changed with Meghan since she left the show back in 2018 and married Prince Harry. And he says, it's weird now that that your co-star is now royalty. Are you still in touch? A fan asked, and Adams admitted that he and the Duchess are not really in touch, as he clarified that she leads a very different life for obvious and important reasons. Upon hearing about the podcast, I got a lovely text saying how excited she was for us and asking how she could help in any way, is what Adam said. He said it was so lovely to still have that kind of support and friendship after so many years. So that is what he had to say about his text from Meghan. So, contrary to popular belief, and that, of course, is that Meghan has ghosted everyone. As he said, she's living a very different life right now, and but that the love and support is still there. So, there you go. Now, all you got to do is wait for little creepy Richard Eden to make something that is not. You know what I mean? And of course, that guy that's on the Sun every week and GB News. Oh, I can't stand those people. Let me see. Okay. Welcome. If you just joined us, I am so sorry that I kicked us out of the other thing earlier, but as you can see, the comment button is very close to end stream. And so every time I go to the comment button, like when I want this picture to go away, I have to go up and push comments to get back to the chat. Well, today is the day where that terrible thing that I thought might happen actually happened. I pushed the wrong button. Sorry. Uh-oh. Got to do it again. Got to do it again. Got to get rid of that one. Oh, wait. No, I don't have to go up there. There we go. Yes, I do. Get back to the comments. Now, there is a hater, a very, very sour person who thinks that she was friends with Meghan. I noticed a pattern. There are people that are, I guess, trying to establish themselves in the business, or much like a Pierce Morgan, I think she likes to make everything about herself, right? And as such, making everything about herself, this person who I've never heard of before today, Lizzie Cundy, she has been going around saying that Meghan ghosted her. How come other people can't be very sensible and just say, you know, this person's life is very different right now, raising children, establishing a foundation, right? Making connections with people in the industry from behind the camera instead of in front of the camera, and so on and so forth. That's a lot. So, for some very practical reasons, you and your family and such, all of those reasons, your focus has moved to another direction. So that way you don't hear people saying, ooh, do you think you're going to get back into acting? You know what I'm saying? There would be endless speculation about Meghan and Suits if she was going to every event connected to Suits. When she got married, she said that things were going to be different, and they are. That's not a bad thing. Sometimes you just have to move on. It doesn't mean that you don't love a person. It doesn't mean that you're that you're just deliberately writing that person off, but your focus is someplace else. I'm glad when people that I've been close to over the years, if we work together, right? We work together. But for that job, I wouldn't even know you. Now, when I see them in passing, yeah, it's still a good thing. But I don't spend time with coworkers from old jobs. I just don't. And even though Suits was a phenomenon, it was still work. So I don't get why people are assuming, and when I shouldn't call them people because they're tabloid reporters, but they want to make out like there's some type of bitterness or something like that. As you can see, Patrick J. Adams, who has stood up for Meghan on occasion, is not harboring some disdain or bitterness. He's busy. She's busy. Everybody's grown up and doing family stuff. Period. And I don't suspect he lives in the neighborhood. Oh, well, I guess I'm wasting my time because those people that want to hate are going to hate, and that's all to it. They're going to find something to be upset about. But in this person's case, they're talking about, oh, she barely avoided an awkward exchange. I'm going to show you something in a minute that says different, but okay. Well, it won't say different, but it shows you that the night that Meghan was having, being invited by the CEO of the Children's Hospital, is very different from this person who I don't have a clue who she is. But you know what I do know about her?
Bitter. And somebody needs to say it. Bitter. Bitter, bitter, bitter.
I think she's just bitter. Yeah, she's bitter. Now, here on the right, you can see where one of the squaddies said, "Thank you. She was nowhere near our princess. Trailer trash." The squaddie's words, not mine. The third pic looks like she was stalking her. I'll show you those pictures in just a minute. But let me explain what's here. So there on the left side is the narrative that's been established by the Daily Mail. And then, of course, there's another article where Richard Eden says something too. But Lizzie Cundy narrowly avoids very awkward reunion with old friend Meghan Markle as she shares snaps from charity gala years after the royal ghosted her. I don't think that they were really friends. I don't think they were friends. I think that she was just someone in the crowd of people, and Meghan was cordial with her, as she was cordial with quite a few people, but that was then. This is now. Anyway, I suspect this person may be problematic to have around, so better to avoid this person. I'm just saying that's the energy I'm getting from this. Close call. Lizzie Cundy narrowly avoids very awkward reunion with former royal pal at glam event after huge fallout. There was no fallout. There was no fallout. Meghan just wasn't into her. Now, here's the photos that she posted. I want you to notice that there's not a flood of lights and cameras on her. I'm sure there was some interest in who she was and what she was doing, but there's not a big flood of lights because there's not that many people snapping her photo. She's not the one that's all over social media today. Meghan is. She's not the one that's splashed all over the online magazines today. Meghan is. Right? I don't even know who this person is. What's that? She was never on the TIG, was she? I don't remember her. All of Meghan's friends were Meghan's friends we know very well. Oh, thank you for that. Exactly. She wasn't into her. What's that? Met her once, very briefly, and Meghan chose not to meet her again afterwards. There. And I think this person has been using Meghan's name to bring attention to whatever project she's working on. You know, Terry H., I was thinking that she must be cut from that same cloth. I think she was cut from that same cloth. And as Meghan realized exactly who she was dealing with, she just said, okay, nice to meet you. Oh, okay. Okay, got it. Well, she looks shady AF, if you know what I mean. She looks very shady. Yeah, she wants to bask in Meghan's light to bring attention to herself. And speaking of light, do you see how there's hardly any lights on her? That's because there's barely anybody taking her photo. I want to show you a comparison so you can see what I mean. I want to show you the comparison so you can see what I'm saying. Look at there. Oh, wait, let me go back the other way. Look at how Meghan's all washed out in light there. Snap, snap, snap. All washed out in light. Oh, okay. I only had that one really bright one. Compared to every photo of her, it's very dim because there's barely anybody taking her photos. And as for the photo with Sugar Ray Leonard, no disrespect to Sugar Ray Leonard, but I haven't seen him doing much lately. You know what I mean? No disrespect to him, but he's not the big deal that he was years ago. So I doubt if there was this huge line queuing to take a photo with him, even though he was being honored that night. Again, no disrespect to him, but you know, he's like sold 20 years ago, 30 years ago. So yeah, that's all I'm saying is he's like from the past. He's not currently a world champion and all that kind of stuff. Again, no disrespect, but so sure, he had plenty time to take a picture with her. And then take a look there. I'm telling you, her photos are getting darker. I have not touched them. There she is sitting on the butterfly chair. There she is by herself, leaning on the table. Here, take my picture. Take my picture. Here, take my picture. It just doesn't make any sense. Here, take my picture. Yeah, I think so, Claire. I think there's a little jealousy. A little jealousy. But you know what they say. You know what they say.
Hey, girl, sit down. Sit down. Sit down. Stars, they come and go.
Yeah, she needs to go sit down. Right on time, Connie Bomber. Right on time. Now, Kate Middleton's very casual first meeting with her brother James's wife, Elise. Is that right, Elise? And why it cast doubt on Meghan's claim about her own introduction to the Princess of Wales. This is what I'm talking about, rewriting the story, rewriting history. So Harry and Meghan, according to, was it in Spare? No, it was on, I think it was in Spare, and it was on the docuseries, where Meghan was in ripped jeans roasting chicken. And they invited William and Kate to come over to Nottingham Cottage. So Meghan, the California girl, barefoot, running around, ripped jeans. Harry, likewise, very casual. We all know Harry likes to be barefoot, right? So they were just coming over for dinner and probably a couple of drinks or whatever. Well, when Meghan opened up the door, there was Mary Queen of Scots, all decked out in a coat dress and hair coiffed and everything. And there's Willie Leaks in a suit. Nottingham Cottage doesn't really lend to the idea of formal. To be honest with you, I don't know what they were wearing, but I believe it was implied that with Meghan in something casual, they were not. So Meghan, as usual, she was trying to get really girl friendly with Kate. You're a girl, I'm a girl. Let's, do what girls do. Talk about boys, whatever. Talk about makeup, clothes, and, just the casual stuff, cooking, family. But apparently, Will and Kate were expecting Meghan to curtsy to them, to do the protocols. And as Meghan said, I thought this was something that was for the cameras. I didn't know that you were expected to carry on like that behind the scenes. And the reason wasn't that she was trying to be disruptive, but as she has been friends with Harry's cousin, which one, Eugenie? I think it was Eugenie. And that she has this very casual relationship with Eugenie and Jack Brooksbank and all that. There's no curtsying and all that nonsense. So Meghan's like, okay, we're all the same age, even though two of us look older. Come on over for roasted chicken. No. Will and Kate was being very grand and very formal. And this caused some friction. That's it. So let me get to the meat of the story. Apparently, James Middleton's girlfriend, now wife, met Kate Middleton, and that Kate was very gracious, polite, and kind to her. And of course, the girl probably couldn't understand a word that Kate was saying. When Kate is when you meet Kate, you really need someone to translate, or you need subtitles, because who knows what she's talking about. And that poor girl, she probably just smiled a lot because she couldn't understand her. Now, to be fair to Kate Middleton, who is the topic right now, we're going to reach out to Kensington Palace to hear Kate's side of the story. Kate?
Well, obviously it'd be, I would love to have met her, and she's obviously she's an inspirational woman to look up to, obviously to this day, and going forward and things. It is, it's a wonderful family. The members who I've met have achieved a lot, and very inspirational. So yeah, I do.
I bet you do. I really bet you do. And the fact that you do probably comes as a shock to everybody. But be that as it may, I'm sure that Kate was perfectly charming to that young lady. But there's a reason why Kate was probably so accommodating. That is because that young lady, and I don't want to be cruel, but she's not Meghan. So Kate didn't look at her and feel threatened. This girl has no celebrity like Meghan. So obviously, this girl was not a threat to Kate. Kate had no reason to feel threatened by her. But trust and believe. When Meghan splashed on the scene, bam, she was threatened. She was confused. She was wondering, how am I going to keep the light on my hair extensions with somebody like this running around? She's brilliant. She's beautiful. Very intelligent. I mean, totally. Kate is nowhere in her class. Nowhere. It's not that Meghan's not in Kate's class. Kate is no match for Meghan. Kate is totally eclipsed by most thinking women, most educated, well-rounded, independent thinking women. And of course, you can go double when it comes to Meghan. And that's just the truth. Yes, and successful. Thank you. That's just the truth. So whatever this thought is, oh, she was so nice to her, so therefore the stuff that Meghan said doesn't hold water. I believe it does. I believe it has lots of merit, plenty merit. Okay, it says, before her relationship with Kate fell apart, amid rows over bridesmaid dresses and baby brain comments, and baby brain comment. I'm sorry. That kind of snuck up on me. Baby brain. You could take that two ways, baby brain. I believe both may be true. Anyways, before the bridesmaid dress and the baby brain comments, Meghan has claimed her sister-in-law took against her from the get-go because of her more casual style. Harry's wife recalls how she was barefoot and wearing ripped jeans when she first met Kate, and said that the former future queen and other members of the royal family found it jarring that she was a hugger, right? Remember, Meghan said she tried to hug her, and Kate absolutely recoiled. And the reason why we know it's true is because they have been making a big deal about Kate hugging people ever since. If there was no truth to that statement or comment, then why are we making a big deal about every time Kate takes those oddly shaped arms of hers and wrap them around people? Why are we making a big deal about it? He described how Alizé appeared in the kitchen of Kate Middleton's family home with her hair tousled and wearing nothing but his shirt, only to find Kate Middleton, William, and their 3 children there. Far from being an issue, there was no awkwardness at all. And by the end of the weekend, Kate had given Alizé the seal of approval, telling James the French financier was just great. Uh-oh. This girl must have some money. Uh-oh. No wonder she was so welcome. It suggests that, however, issues subsequently emerged between Kate and Harry's wife. Now, this is how they wrote the article in the Fail. Harry's wife, Meghan's penchant for ripped jeans was not the root of the problem. I don't think it was the root of the problem. I think the root of the problem is that Kate finds Meghan threatening. She finds Meghan, what do you call it? She's overwhelmed by Meghan, right? She feels intimidated by people that are, let's face it, classier than she is. Describing Kate's first meeting with Alizé, James said that she met his family by accident when the couple decided to stay at his parents' home in Bucklebury, Berkshire, after attending a wedding nearby. The next morning, he woke up to discover they unexpectedly had company. William, Kate, and the 3 children were visiting for the weekend. So you mean to tell me that you brought this girl home to your parents' house and she's walking around in y'all kitchen with nothing but a shirt on? Let me say that one more time. You met this girl and you bring her to a wedding. You bring her to your parents' house. You're not married. And this girl is tipping around your mama's kitchen in nothing but a shirt. Am I missing something? All she had on was one of my shirts. You're not away for the weekend staying at a cabin. You're not at some Airbnb in Soho or something. You at your mama's house. You're at your mama's house. And your sister, brother-in-law, and their 3 children see some girl walking around the house with nothing but your shirt on. Okay. I guess at that point you had no choice but to get married. I mean, that's what the article says. Her hair's all messed up and she's walking around in James Middleton's shirt and nothing else. She just got out of bed, her hair still tousled, and she was wearing one of my shirts. In a situation like this, Alizé is wonderfully French. She does not panic or rush upstairs to get dressed. Instead, she just greets everyone warmly, as if it's not remotely unusual to be meeting her boyfriend's sister and brother-in-law for the first time, wearing only an oversized man's shirt. Hello, she says. Bonjour. Preferring to hand with no awkwardness at all. We're all soon chatting and the children are asking all kind of cheeky questions at 100 miles per hour. You know what? I'm not going to say nothing. I can think of a million things to say, but I'm not going to go there. No H words or anything like that. I'm just going to keep it moving. Then they were all talking and laughing as if she had been part of the family for years, which is an indication that this ain't the first time Thank you, Hazel Jones. I get that. I get that. So this ain't the first time that somebody has been prancing around his mama's house wearing only a man's shirt and nothing else, and sitting down talking to people she don't know. I'm not going to assume that this girl is indicative of all French people. I'm just not going to assume that. He added the next day when they parted, "You mean to tell me she stayed another night? She stayed another night. This girl that you're not married to, prancing around your mama's house wearing nothing but a shirt, stayed another night?" He added, "The next day when we parted ways, she got a special squeeze from his sister, who whispered in his ear, 'She's just great.' Or as Kate Middleton would say, what? Bon vivant. Bon vivant." And of course, at that point, one of the kids says, "She says she's just great." uh, what did she say? She said,
Well, obviously it'd be.
That's what she said. Didn't you hear her the first time? She said,
Well, obviously it'd be.
That's what she said. Try to listen next time. She said that, and she said,
Yeah, I do.
That's what she said. So, discussing the meeting, oh, wait, where did I leave off? Oh, yeah. By contrast, Meghan Markle said that there was some awkwardness with Kate straight away when they first met in 2017 and put it down to the very different styles. Meghan recounted in the couple's Netflix series, Harry and Meghan, that she was barefoot and wearing ripped jeans when she first met Kate. Discussing the meeting, she said she did not know the formality the royals display in public continues behind closed doors, and that she said, "I'm a hugger," right? Which she did not realize was jarring for some Brits. She said, "Even when Will and Kate came over and I was meeting her for the first time, I remember I was in ripped jeans. I was barefoot, like I was a hugger. I have always been a hugger. I just didn't realize that is really jarring for lots of Brits. I started to understand that the formality on the outside carries through to the inside. And there is a forward-facing way of being when you're close and the door when you close the door and think it's okay to relax now. But the formality carries over both sides, and that was surprising to me. Even Prince Harry made reference to the two women's differing styles in his memoir, Spare, recalling how William and Kate had come over for dinner during one of their visits, one of Meghan's visits from Canada. Yeah, they say it was in the early days, and it seems like everything was okay, but there was a lot of differences between the two. Okay, and it says Megan's ripped jeans, barefoot, and Kate was done up to the nines. Yeah, I thought so. Yeah, so when they came over, it wasn't like Kate was wearing jeans. Kate was trying to impress that Hollywood actress, and she came over there wearing one of those ridiculous coat dresses. So that's what the problem was. Kate had got all dressed up, and they probably felt stupid when Megan opened up the door, um, you know, and was not all dressed up. Like, if you know anything about Nottingham Cottage, it's not the place where you dress up. I mean, they didn't even have furniture until Meghan came. Meghan put the sofa on her credit card. Harry didn't even have any real furniture. And I guess, remember how they were saying that the two brothers were so close. If they were so close, William should have known that Harry's house was not that formal. Let me see here. Okay. Yeah, so that was the whole point of the thing, is that I don't know if that is what the brother says about Meghan, or if that's something that the who wrote this article, or is that something that they say? Jessica Green for Mail Online. I don't know who that writer is, but yeah. So clueless Kate came over, dressed to the nines, trying to impress somebody. The only reason why she did that is because she was so intimidated by Meghan. That's why she got all dressed up, because she thought Meghan was going to be Rachel Zane. I guess Kate doesn't get the memo that says what you see on screen is not necessarily the person that you're going to meet off screen. Now, if Kate was going to meet Joan Crawford, then I would say, yeah, you better dress up. But she was just going to see Meghan, the Hollywood actress. Yeah, I think that's why they were so guarded and standoffish, is because they probably felt stupid. She probably was afraid that William was going to be very angry if she didn't make a huge impression on Meghan. And so she got all dressed up for no reason. She had somebody come over and put some wiglets in her hair or extensions or whatever, only for Meghan to open up the door wearing some ripped jeans and barefoot. So, an example on the left side, the ripped jeans, the famous ripped jeans. This is a California girl. Now, just to remind you guys about who James Middleton is, James Middleton, just like everybody else in his family, is a complete failure when it comes to money and business. The one thing that you could say is that the Middletons know how to fake it to make it, but they never really have any real wealth. Middleton once dreamed of becoming the next Richard Branson. You know, talking about Kate and Richard Branson and her brother just sounds weird. So let me move on. But then Kate's brother turned to the good life and breeding spaniels. another one of his harebrained ideas to make money. To find peace in the countryside with his pregnant wife, you know, the one that Kate went to and said, "Oh, right?" Whatever she said. And of course, this whole thing about dogs and um James Middleton. I get a queasy feeling when I think about this man and his love affair with canines. And then there on the right, I'm also very concerned about the fact that he's been hanging around with the women's auxiliary, if you know what I mean, with the ladies that lunch, with that he's been involved with those weird coffee clutches, right? You know what I'm saying. With those pulled pork sandwich people, like for instance, they're on the right side, Dan Wooten, part of the women's auxiliary, um, who was so eager to post this photo just to make sure that everybody knows how far his tentacles can reach into the royal family. And then, of course, there's that crazy idea that he had. He thought that he was going to get rich overnight and make a name for himself by creating custom marshmallows. And I was just thinking the other day, I'm like, how come nobody's making a fortune by using a laser printer filled with, and I'm guessing it was filled with, digestible, edible food dye. And how come nobody's getting rich by making custom marshmallows? I mean, for every formal occasion, I don't know how many times I've heard somebody say, how come you don't have any of those custom marshmallows with questionable images painted on them or whatever? And of course, I feel like such a loser because I'm like, I don't know. I don't know. But yeah, so that was one of his get rich quick schemes. James Middleton Gift Company, Boomf. That was what he called the company, Boomf. Unwittingly created boxes plastered with Nazi swastikas and anti Semitic image to be shipped to customers. I told you he's not that bright, didn't I? Not very bright at all. And then, just like any Middleton, a collapsed business and debts in the millions, keeping up with the Middletons. No, thank you. I'd rather keep away from the Middletons because they're nothing but trouble. There was some controversy this weekend. Apparently, myself and several other people in the Sussex squad was following this LBC or LB, what is it, LBC? GB News Talk TV person, right? I didn't know she was a journalist, to be honest with you. I didn't even know she was a journalist. And so when I heard them saying Denise, and I'm not following this person anymore, I was like, who are they talking about? So I went to my list of followings, and I found that name. I was like, oh, she tweeted that the vice president, Kamala Harris, is only black when she's running for office. When she's not running for office, then she's something else, and that her father is Irish. And so the squad laid into her, and she stands behind her comment. So I don't know how we were misled, but I'm using this as a cautionary tale. Let me drink some water. As you can hear, I'm losing my voice. But the thing is, sometimes we are easily charmed by anyone who says a couple of nice things about Meghan and Harry. But I do believe that that was just a ruse to build up an audience, to get some street cred and all that other good stuff. When the truth is, we really did not know this person, because this person actually had the nerves to say in another tweet, vote for Jill Stein. In other words, she or someone with interests has determined that they're trying to water down, that they're trying to create confusion and sow seeds of doubt where the Black vote is concerned. And she's just one of several people. Now, I know that this sounds strange, but let me explain it to you. There's a lot of people that are on payrolls. There's the obvious payroll, like working for the above mentioned. And then there's other ways that they're compensated to say and do certain things. I'm alleging that that's what happened here. Now, I don't know whose interests she's involved with, or maybe that's just the way she feels. Maybe she is anti Black American women, or anti anybody who says they're Black, but you believe their father is Irish. Well, if that's the case, then I'm Irish, because if her father has Irish blood, that is the vice president's father, then I actually have an Irish surname in my family tree. That means I'm Irish and Scottish and a few other things, including English. There's lots of, ancestors in my family tree that were not native of Africa. So there's no indictment that there may be some Irish heritage for the vice president, but her father is a Black man. If he comes to the United States, which he is here, he's a Black man. Let me just put it to you in the simplest of terms. Whether you're, what is her father, a economics professor, or Barack Obama, president of the United States, or Baron from Royal Sussex, there's something about all three of us that we could walk out during rush hour and try to wave a taxi, and that taxi will pass us up and go pick up a white person. Okay? Where that's concerned, myself, the vice president's father, and the former president of the United States, we all have that in common. So when that taxi passed me up, the first time that happened to me, I was shocked. And I thought about it. I said, oh. So I pulled out a $20 bill and I waved it. The next taxi stopped for me. Do you understand what I'm saying? So no matter what Denise feels about someone else's family DNA or background, ancestry, it does not matter. If somebody didn't know who Barack Obama was, it's rush hour, and the taxi driver has a choice. Who am I going to pick up? The Black man in the suit or the white man in the suit? I know this may be hard for some of you all to accept, especially if you don't come from the Black experience, but I'm telling you, it's happened to me. It has happened to a lot of successful Black men and women. So for this person to say that the vice president's father is white, he's Irish, or whatever she said, Janet Jackson, it does not matter. I don't get into what race somebody is. Whatever you say you are, fine. How I feel about it personally is going to be for me and me alone. I'm not going to tell somebody what they are or are not. The vice president is a black woman in America, but she also happens to have some East Indian descent from her mother's side. So what? Her mother raised her as a black girl. Exactly. When the police pull you over. Mm. Well, um, the really odd part about my experience with the taxi, I believe that the driver that passed me up was very likely of African descent. The driver that finally picked me up when I waved $20, he was also black. And so I told him, I said, I had a problem getting a taxi. I said, nobody stopped till I waved $20. I said, is that normal? Because at this point I was young. I didn't take many taxis. He didn't want to talk about it. But just so you know, black taxi drivers will pass you up and go and pick up the white man just as fast as anybody else will. It happens. So it's not restricted to the race of the driver, but there is, you know, there's racial profiling from the taxi driver. I've had it happen to me. And of course, there's laws and rules against it. They could lose their license and all that kind of stuff if you can prove it. Most times, all they have to do is get a few people. If they get too many people complaining about it, yeah, then they would lose their chauffeur's license. But I was racially profiled. I have been racially profiled by black people. I have been racially profiled by white people. Okay, so that was what I wanted to share with you. Not everybody who talks about Harry and Meghan is necessarily a like-minded person. You'd have to get to know them individually, and who knows? Maybe some of you all listening to me are Jill Stein report supporters. Maybe some of you are Trump supporters. Whatever the case may be, first of all, I really don't want to hear about Jill Stein or Donald Trump. I don't care to know about them. You all know who I'm supporting, so that's that. I could never throw my support behind someone who nearly cost us the government, who tried to circumvent the law so that they could stay in office. I don't know how anybody supports that. And as for Jill Stein, she's a disruptor, just like Robert F. Kennedy, a disruptor. She only surfaces every 4 years. Let's see here. Yeah. I've actually had some cab drivers that would say, where are you going? I said, you're not supposed to ask me where I'm going. I'm supposed to get in the car and then tell you the address, but you don't get to tell me where or ask me where am I going. Um, is she, out of the blue, she started making friends with the squatties on Twitter. And of course, you know how the squatties are. Anybody who says so. So, she's been supportive of Meghan, not extremely supportive. She's not a squatty. I don't suppose she pretended to be, but she was supportive to Meghan, or at least would discuss Meghan or whatever. But so close to the election, she decided to spring, and I do mean spring, this anti Kamala Harris thing on us. And people reacted to it. And so I stopped following her. Most people in the squad that know about it stopped following her. And there were people who said, yeah, I kind of knew it was something weird about her, but, she was saying this about Meghan and that about Meghan. So I didn't, get alarmed by it. So, but yeah, I listened to a conversation in the chats the other day, and that was the topic of discussion. The other thing is she was having some kind of a fundraiser, and that set off alarm bells for some of the squatties. You know what I mean? They saw that, and it started to become reminiscent of other occasions where people that call themselves squatties were being a bit odd. I'll just say odd. And that seemed to cause some concern. So I had never seen this fundraising thing until, I don't know what the support was for. It says support me or whatever. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what that's about. So I'm not going to say one way or the other. But don't take my word for it. Don't take my word for it, because I don't really know this person. I just know that she was a topic of discussion. And I went to her Twitter and I saw the tweet in question. And I said, hell to the no. And I unfollowed her. So I didn't just take anybody's word. I saw it for myself. I said, hell to the no. And I unfollowed her. But my point is, be careful, because you don't know who you're supporting out here just because they say something about Meghan and all that kind of stuff. It's important to look a little deeper to know if that person deserves your support. So that's all I got to say about that. I think she was coming into the live chats, the spaces and such. Yep, but a real tool as far as I'm concerned. Let me see. I'm trying to see if that tweet is still there. Yeah, but everything else, she seems to say the right things, but when it comes to this election, she has an in for the vice president. And that just came from out of the blue. Oh, I kind of think that tweet is gone. Look like she's a fan of Elon Musk, I think. So I know some of you all have gone over to take a look. Feel free to do so. Feel free to do so. Wow, looks like anything Meghan is gone too. Let me see. Oh, and by the way, it looks like she had Meredith Constance on there back in 2023, it looks like. And that's another thing. I like Meredith Constance, but she's not a squatty. I like Tessa Dunlap. She's not a squatty. Okay? I'm not telling y'all don't listen or don't follow these people, but just know that they're not squatties. Because trust me, you will get a rude awakening one of these days, and you'll be like, I cannot believe they said that. Yeah, they did. Yes, they did. But what was so shocking is it was like she came from out of the blue with this Kamala thing. It was like she came out of the blue with it. And then in another tweet, she said something and vote for Jill Stein. There are people out there, I'm not saying she's one of them, but there are people out there that want you to throw your vote away. They want you to waste your vote. They want you to waste your vote. Let me see. I'm not even going to say that tweet out loud. Not going to say it out loud. But yeah, I think she took that tweet down about the vice president. But I did see it the other day, but it's gone now. Oh, okay. Here's one. She retweeted Insurrection Barbie. More strange things about Kamala Harris and her genealogy. Did you hear what I just said? She retweeted that. Okay. And then she has let me see. Kamala Harris is a descendant of an Irish slave owner in Jamaica. Yeah, that's the information that she's sharing. Just so you know, she retweeted a thread that has Candace Owens. Just be careful, y'all. Just be careful. That's all I'm saying. Don't assume that everybody that that speaks about Meghan or for Meghan on behalf or concerning Meghan, just be careful. Okay, so that's what I had to say about that. It was just something that I happened in on the other day that I thought was very odd. But again, do not take my word for it. You have to research these people for yourself. I never, I just friended or followed or whatever. I don't remember hearing a conversation from her. But to each their own. We all have a right to express our feelings. And sometimes we're misled because we just don't do our research. But I'm pretty sure that that was her theme all along, and people just wasn't paying attention. But when you know better, you do better, right? That's what Dr. Maya says. When you know better, you do better. So do better. Yeah, exactly, Reba. Thank you for that. Oh boy. Okay. Okay, you guys. I am done, by the way. I just want you guys to know I don't want to keep anybody up too late. But I am done. I am done. I'm very done. Let me see. What was this last slide? Oh, this is from Muriel, doing some heavy research. Charles and Camilla having a high old time in Australia, but nobody cares. I think I'll just talk about this one tomorrow. I'll talk about that one tomorrow. Um, so, but I'm done. But let me just leave you here with this little conversation I had. Sorry, I'm losing my voice, but it's kind of dry in here. Um, all right, how do I put this? A friend of mine, and I'm not making this up, a friend of mine is not friends with Janet Jackson, but she's been in her company before, right? And a long time ago, I kind of let her know that I was not a big fan of Janet Jackson's. And we got into an argument about the whole Super Bowl thing. And so, you know, I believed at the time that we were supposed to be shocked by something that night. I don't know if that's what that something was, but I asked her, I said, well, if that wasn't supposed to happen, then why did they make this big fuss about everybody should watch and you're all going to be shocked? Do you all remember that? Do you all remember that? That they were saying that we will be in shock and awe over the halftime show. Because I do. I remember that. So I said, whatever happened, it just seems to me that it was awfully strange that they made a big fuss and whatever happened backfired. So she went on to tell me that I had it all wrong and so on and so forth. But I just thought that there was a possibility, hear me out, that there was a possibility that somebody had used poor judgment that night and things didn't go the way they thought it would. Now, if there's any indication that Janet Jackson may have poor judgment sometime, just think about this last thing that just happened. That showed very poor judgment. Instead of just not talking about it, she doubled down on it. And then the person who tried to apologize was fired, allegedly. And to me, it shows a lack of insight. And listen, I love Janet Jackson's music. I'm always going to listen to it, but I never thought she was the sharpest tool in the shed. So my friend, this is what she told me. She said that I just wish she would have told the truth. And I said, what truth? she said that she believed that Janet Jackson doesn't like um, Kamala because when she was DA, that somehow she was going after her brother. I said, really? I said, I don't remember that. I said, and even if that were true, the only thing that people would say about it is that she did her job. As a matter of fact, if she ignored it, wouldn't that be strange? Why, number one, why should she ignore it? And number two, she was only doing her job. And I just find it hard to believe that Janet Jackson would be harboring this bad feeling about um, the vice president because of something that happened years ago, something that had been in and out of court. It was a civil issue. This was dropped, and so on and so forth. Kamala Harris wasn't the one that was having these strange connections. That was Michael Jackson. And whatever did or did not happen, people are going to look at you and give you the side eye when you get in trouble for something like that. That's when you're supposed to, at that point, you don't have anybody around you that's not a blood relative. Do you understand what I'm saying? But instead, what happened? Just like Janet, he doubled down. He said, yeah, everybody should do it. I rest my case. I rest my case. So I get what she was saying, that maybe there's some bad blood with Janet and the vice president. But regardless of that, we're talking about two Black women. And in this instance, Janet has gone from being a Black woman who has not expressed her feelings about the vice president. Now she sounds like a right-wing gatekeeper. Yeah, Church Nelly. And that one ain't gonna wash, because if she's that bad off, then maybe she should cancel her concert. Maybe it's time to cancel the concert and go be with the rest of the family. I'm sure it was a shock. But I just think that members of that family have very public lives and that they have exercised very poor judgment. I'm not saying that anybody's guilty. I'm certainly not implying that they're innocent, but that shows poor judgment. If you're paying out a civil suit because of the company you keep, at that point, you don't keep that company anymore. I wouldn't. So that's all I wanted to say. That is the conversation as best I remember it. My friend was saying that she just thought that she should have told the truth. And I told her, I said, I don't know how that's helpful, because telling the truth would only make you look bitter and ignorant. Because if there is some bitterness toward the vice president because of some case from years ago, I don't think as prosecutor that you have the luxury of dismissing a case because so many people in the public are saying, oh, I don't believe it. I think that people would say you're being derelict of your duty and that you have a duty to pursue these cases wherever they go. So I don't know, you guys. I really hate that the whole thing happened. And the truth is, Janet Jackson probably is not voting anyway for religious reasons. She's probably not even going to vote. So it would have been better just to leave it alone. Just let it go. Don't say anything. But that wasn't in the cards. She said something, and she said a lot. Too much. So anyway, it was painful to watch. And I'm just that family. I have been conflicted by that family. I love their music. I think where Americans, not just African Americans, but for any American, their family is a huge success story. To go from very humble beginnings to superstardom. I'm still old enough to remember when they first moved into that house in California. Okay? I'm still old enough to remember that. So I've always looked up to that family. But when I got older and I just realized how weird they are sometimes, I was just like, ugh, glad that ain't my family. Well, D.L. Hughley, as far as I'm concerned, D.L. Hughley had the best response to Janet. And I'm going to stand behind him with that one. I'm going to stand behind him with that one. But anyway, you guys, I should get going. I probably have said too much. But just remember, everybody who speaks well of Meghan and Harry, they're not necessarily squatties. So there are some people that are taking advantage of the good nature of the Sussex squad. But yeah, all I could say is I was there on the wedding day. Okay, I was there on the wedding day, and that's where my connection grows from. And then, as far as everything else is concerned, with the way that Black women have been treated, not only in this country, but around the world, I could never sit idly by and watch the wholesale abuse of a Black woman. That is just, I can only think of my mother and everybody else, every other Black woman in this world that has been important to me. And I just say they don't deserve that. Society has always been very brutal with Black women, very brutal. And the days of looking the other way and ignoring and stuff like that, we just cannot do it. And even for someone that I don't even have respect for, I would be hard pressed to sit idly by while they're being abused. But some of them have decided to side with the gatekeepers, and I can't really do nothing for them because they have been lost already. But yeah, so Janet, what was she thinking? What was she thinking? Oh, that's very deep. Imagine having that much money and being content to wallow in ignorance. You get a bell for that, 2 bells. There you go. Okay, you guys, I'm going to call it then. Thank you for trusting me to do this work, and I will see you all tomorrow later today. I'm definitely going to come on earlier tomorrow. It won't be this late. But today just really got out of hand. I had a guest unannounced, and anyway, when you have someone younger and able-bodied and you have work that needs to be done, lifting and toting, and I got a haircut and everything, so I had to take advantage of my guests while I could. So I was walking around with a smile on my face and my eyes were going left and right. And they were like, "What's wrong with you?" I'm like, "Nothing. I'm just trying to see what else I need you to do before you get out of here." This is why you should never go visit old people, because they're going to find something for you to do. Oh my God. That was really bad, but I couldn't help myself. I had some stuff I needed done. So no wonder nobody ever comes over here. All right. All right. You're welcome, Cookies and Cream, and thank you for being here. All right. I don't know. I kind of feel like hanging out, but we should go, right? We should go. Okay. Again, sorry about disconnecting earlier, but if you're just watching, remember part 1 and part 2. This will be part 2. Okay. Ciao for now. I'm not even going to play any music. I'm just going to say goodnight. All right. Cheers. Okay, I got to play something. I got to play something on the way out of here, which seemed weird if I didn't, wouldn't it? Let me see what I can find. Let me see. I don't know. Salsa. I like the salsa. Let's do the salsa. Get those juices flowing. And while I play the music, I'm gonna get the community tab for Pedal, so you guys can leave some thoughts and prayers and warm wishes for her and her family since her father just passed away. Yeah, and I saw you guys were talking about Sissy Houston. That's very sad. Poor Sissy. Wait, where is it? There we go. Hit it. Okay, well, I wasn't moving as fast as I thought I was. So that's the link for Pedal, Facts and 2 Cents. Her father passed away yesterday, so please go over to her community tab and find the second to the last thing she left there where she speaks about her father, and just let her know that you're thinking about her right now. You know, we never grow up until we lose our parents. You know that. They say you never grow up till you lose your parents. Let me try this one. See if this one goes directly. Yes, try that one. That one is better. It takes you directly to the post. So let me just pin that to the top of the chat. And there you go. So again, please go over and while you're over there, if you're not subscribed to Facts and 2 Cents, if you're haven't become a member, if you're considering that, but I have to tell you guys, Petal is the reason why I am very detailed, because I saw that she was working so hard, and I wanted to make sure that I maintained the standard as close as possible to Facts and 2 Cents. So if you ever wonder, why do I find all those little details and verify things? Because I want to make sure that I'm doing something close to what Petal was doing. So I think she's brilliant. Okay. And with that, good night or good morning. Hope you have a good night's sleep or a very, very productive day, whichever applies. Good night to you, Connie Palmer. Connie, I'm going to have to go get one of those Ricolas. This is a Ricola night. I probably should have some more of that Ricola tea that you gave me. That is it's like medicine for your throat. But thank you. Okay, good night, y'all.